What makes a high value man? Well, on the internet, everybody's talking about high value men and how you should become a high value man if you want to have access to options and resources and all these cool things in your life. And if you actually want to live a very successful life as a man.
A high value man is someone other men respect and want to be like. He's someone who not only attracts every woman, but also knows how to treat a girl right.
So I hear a lot about this high value man and high value women and all these things online, and the high value man is someone who's making over six figures and over 6 feet.
But how exactly do you become a high value man? There's all this talk about high value men this and high value men that, and you need to become a high value man, but they don't really actually tell you exactly how to become a high value man. They either give you some kind of vague advice like, well, you need to get super jacked, you need to make a whole bunch of money, and you need to sleep with thousands of women. Yeah. How exactly does one do that? Or the other option is that they try to sell you on some course on how to do that. But here's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to share with you the actual answer to how to become a high value man. And I'm going to do it for free. And I'm going to give it to you with no gimmicks and no kind of bells and whistles. I'm just going to give it to you for free. Now, am I doing this out of the kindness of my heart? Kind of. But I'm doing this mostly because most of the advice out there is very flawed, very limited, or even like the courses that people sell are also very flawed and very limited. So I'm trying to provide actual information that's actually going to benefit men instead of just giving you a little bit of fluff that is going to give me some financial gain. What I'm trying to do here is actually to improve men's lives. So first, let's understand what is a high value man. How do we understand that we've become one once we get there? How will we know that we've become a high value man? Well, first of all, we need to understand that it's not about a specific number of money that you make. It's not about a specific number of women that you sleep with. It's not about a specific body type or look that you need to achieve. It's about you feeling good about your life. And how that's going to look is going to look different for one person to the next. For one person, it's becoming a billionaire, a trillionaire, and that's perfectly fine. For someone, it's just living on the beach and making ends meet, right? So it looks kind of different for every person. What I'm going with this is that becoming a high value man is not necessarily about making a whole bunch of bank and actually living the Instagram lifestyle. It's about you being comfortable with your own life and you being actually happy and fulfilled with what you're doing in your life. But there's certain rules, or I want to really call them rules, sort of guidelines that let you get to that place of fulfillment in your own life. And there are certain basic things that you need to do in order to get there. And the one thing that these people on the internet do get right is that there are three sort of areas of your life that you need to get in order for you to actually live a more fulfilling life. Now, these three areas are very, very important. They're sort of implicit in the vague advice that people give. Number one is physical health, right? If you don't have health in your body, then you don't really have anything, right? If you have like $1 billion, $1 trillion, but you're sick all the time and you live in a hospital bed, like what good is it to you actually? What benefit are you getting from that money if you're not able to enjoy it? Second is relationships, right? Establishing a deep emotional connection with family, with friends, or a loved one, right? Or a significant other. So the first thing that we need to master is that relationship dynamic that we build with other people. And in relationships, we actually become much more fulfilled. Now, it's challenging, yes. It has its ups and downs, yes. It's very, very complicated and messy, yes, absolutely. But it's worth actually you mastering this skill because it will lead you to become a much more fulfilled person. And last but not least is mastering your finances, mastering your money, like understanding how to use money in order for you to live the life that you want to live, experience the things that you want to experience, travel to where you want to travel, live where you want to live, eat what you want to eat, experience what you want to experience, and provide for the people that you love. So here are the things that we need to look at: financial, emotional, and physical, right? So let's break these down one by one. First of all, let's look at your physical health. Let's look at going to the gym and getting jacked, right? If you want to do that and get super jacked and become like a 300-pound muscle beast, go ahead and do that. Like, there's no shade here. But it's all about really taking care of three things mainly. Number one is your nutrition. Is what are you eating? What are you putting inside of your body? That's the most important part, because that's going to be the fuel that's going to take you to whatever activities or whatever things are going to actually propel you to do along the day. So your nutrition is the number one priority. Number one is, what are you eating? What are you putting inside of your body? Now, I'm not a certified nutritionist or dietitian, anything like that. So I'm not going to even attempt to break that down. But my advice would be to seek out information that helps you and that works for you in terms of nutrition, of how you actually feed your body in the best way possible for you to have more energy, to be more alert, to take better care of your health and recover faster from workouts. All these things are important, right? So take care of your nutrition first. Second of all, is taking care of your physical body, meaning movement, exercise, right? So exercise is really, really important. Now, a lot of people think that you just need to go to the gym and that's the only option. No, I'm here to tell you that's not the case. You can do whatever kind of physical activity that you find enjoyable or entertaining or whatever it is that is using your body in a way that allows you to have more vitality, more energy, better movement, better alertness, all of those things. Now, personally, I hated the gym, right? Now I kind of like it, but I hated the gym. I hated going to the gym. I felt like a rat on a wheel, just going over and over and over again on the same exercise, doing the same thing over and over again, and I hated it. So what did I do? I started learning mixed martial arts, and I started training that, and now I'm at a level where I'm actually coaching fighters to fight in professional settings. So the point here is not for me to brag. The point is that I never expected that to happen. I never expected going into it that this was going to become sort of a career for me. I just expected for me to sort of start exercising and start using my body in a different way instead of just going to the gym. So in me doing that, then opened a whole bunch of different opportunities for me in my life. And what I'm trying to convey to you is the same thing. If you hate going to the gym just like I do, right? But maybe you like dancing. So get into a dancing class and get kind of serious about dancing and do it enough where your body starts to, exert a lot of energy dancing. And when you do that, it starts to increase your physical health. It starts to change your body. You start to shed pounds. You start to look differently. You look better in the mirror. You feel better. You work around different options. Like your body is much more mobile and loose and flexible. All these things are important, right? So exercise is the second thing on this physical health spectrum, right? Now, the third thing is very, very important as well, maybe just as important as the other two, is recovery. A lot of people don't even talk about this. They just think that you need to eat right, and go to the gym, and just exercise like crazy and not eat anything, and you're going to be amazing. No, that's not how it works. You need to rest as well, and you need to recover from those workouts. Now, a lot of people just do the third thing. They just rest. But here's the thing. If you eat well, if you take care of your nutrition, if you're working out and you're recovering from those workouts, you are going to feel amazing. And your body is going to thank you, because you're going to be much more flexible, much more alert, much more mobile, much more energetic. And your physical health is going to improve. So here's the thing that you need to basically take from all of this. This is the guideline that I'm talking about that is going to actually help you improve your health. Number one, take care of your nutrition. Put good things in your body that are going to feed you, that not just going to fill you up, or that not just tasty, right? Things that can be tasty and nutritious as well, but They're things that are actually going to give nutrients to your body, right? And that are actually going to make you feel good. Number two is exercise, move your body, use your body. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's the basic idea. And number three is recover from those workouts. Rest enough, sleep very well. Sleep is super, super important. A lot of people don't sleep enough. So sleep is very, very important as well. Recover from those workouts. If you do these three things, you will improve your physical health dramatically, and it's going to show in your body. Number two is financial success. Okay. Now, this is a very, very sensitive topic for a lot of people. But hey, if we don't talk about it, none of this is actually going to improve. So we need to talk about it. And we need to talk about, once again, sort of the guidelines that are going to allow us to actually improve our finances. Now, the first thing that we need to understand is vision, right? We're going to break it down sort of the same way. Vision, number one, is vision understanding exactly what it is that you need to make in order to make your vision of your future come true when it comes to your finances, right? How much money does it actually take for you to live the life of your dreams? Like that might mean living in a mansion, that might mean owning a sport team, that might mean owning a yacht or a private jet, or maybe it just means living in a peaceful hut in the middle of the beach, right? Like whatever vision you have for your life, understand that that has a price tag on it. And understanding what that price tag is allows you to have a very clear target of what you need to get to in order for you to live that lifestyle, right? So your vision is very, very important. Number one, understand where you're going with your finances, okay? And also included in that vision is how you want to live that life in terms of work, in terms of activities that produce income for you, right? Maybe you just want to retire at age 40, for example, right? Well, what would you need to do in order to get to that point? It's not about, oh, that's impossible or I can't do that. Think about how could I do that? If you start asking yourself that question, then soon enough your brain starts coming up with possible answers. So here's the cool part about this. First of all, come about with a vision. Understand how much that's going to cost and what are the possible options that are going to get you there. That's number one. Number two is focus. Focus on exactly your vehicle, the thing that's going to get you there. Now, a lot of people just trade time for money. And let me tell you, there are lots of other resources that a lot of people use in order to get money. So here's the thing. There are sort of four basic resources that you can use to trade for money. Number one is your time, which was what most people do, is a 9 to 5 job, right? You go to an office, you dedicate a certain amount of time towards a particular task, and that pays you then money, right? And somebody pays you for that time that yours, for that effort that you've put into that thing, right? That's basically what most people do. And when people try to make more money, they usually use that same resources. They say, okay, I make enough money doing this and spending this much time on this, and so I'm going to spend more time on something else, sort of a side hustle or a side job that is going to make me more money. And yeah, you're going to make more money, but you're also going to have less time. And you're going to be exhausted all the time. It's just going to be very, very draining. So we need to understand what are these other three options that you can use in order to leverage that to make more money. Now, the other three options are, we talked about time. The second option, or the second resource, I should say, is your expertise, the things that you know, the things that you are good at, right? These things are very, very important, and people are willing to pay money for this. So consulting, teaching, all these ideas, all these things are very, very important for you to use then to actually make money off of them. A lot of people teach, a lot of people like create courses, a lot of people make YouTube channels just like this one, things like this, right? So if you use what you know in order to leverage that into making money, then that could be an extra revenue stream. But the next two things that are, or the next two resources are actually where a lot of people actually make the most money. So the third resource is actually money, right? You've heard a million times before that it takes money to make money. Now, there is some truth to that. Like, it's not the only resource, like we already talked about, but if you have a little bit of money, right, you could use that then to leverage other people or leverage other interests or other ideas or other motions that actually help you make more money. So the third resource, money, right, allows you to then maybe, if you want to, for example, if you want to create a YouTube channel, right, because you want to leverage your skills or your knowledge, and you want to do that, but you don't actually have the time to edit videos or to record them or to upload them or anything like that, you could then use money to pay someone else to do that for you so that you can actually have that revenue stream and without you having to spend that extra time on that thing. You could also use money in order to invest in different opportunities and ideas. Now, a lot of people just think that investing is limited to stocks and bonds. You could do that, absolutely, but you could also invest in, real estate. You could also invest in other businesses. And it's not necessary that you become like the business owner, or it's not necessary that you become like the sole proprietor of that real estate, that you can get in with other people, right? Get around other people with other money, other pieces of the pie in terms of money, right? You come together, you buy that property, then you lease it out, and then you all get a little bit of a commission. So here's the thing. It's about being smart and using that money in order to leverage it to create more money, right? Now, the fourth resource that you can use in order to make more money is attention, right? Attention is money. Attention is something that a lot of people are looking for, especially in this age, in the information age. A lot of people are looking for influencers. They're looking for people who are gathering newsletters, people who are bloggers, people who are YouTubers, people who are Instagram influencers. All these people who have amassed any kind of gathering of people. And it doesn't have to be like this massive following, like millions of people. You could just have like a couple thousand people, a list of 1,000 emails. And you could use that in order to make money off of other companies that want to advertise to these people. So using these resources allows you to make more money. So use these different resources and you will be able to leverage your money, your time, your skills, and your attention in order for you to make much more money even when you're not working. And number 3 in the financial scheme here is actually being disciplined with your money. Like, a lot of people are very undisciplined with their money, and because of that, they never make enough money for them to actually live a comfortable life. Now, this is not limited to movie stars or celebrities, although some of them are very, very guilty of these things. But as you make more money, a lot of people spend more money. So if you're making like $100,000 a month, you could easily spend $100,000 a month or more, right? In terms of debt, right? So you need to be very, very disciplined with your money. And you need to be very, very conservative with that money and not spend it on stupid things. I know this sounds very, very basic, but a lot of people miss this. Even as basic as it is, a lot of people miss it. So be very, very disciplined with your money. There are 3 things that we already covered. So what are these 3 things? Number 1 is to have a vision. Understand where you want to go, how much it's going to take, and how you're going to get there. Number 2 is focus. Focus on the things and the vehicle that is actually going to get you there. What are the different resources that I'm going to use? And how am I going to leverage those resources to make more money? Now, the third thing is discipline, being disciplined with your money, living below your means in order for you to gather more money and actually become financially wealthy. And finally, let's look at romantic success. Let's look at relationships. Because so many times, there's this whole culture nowadays about hookups and just you need to sleep with as many women as you possibly can. Let me tell you something, okay? I've sort of tried both. in my life, right? I've tried, being casual with women, and I've tried being in a committed relationship. And I'll tell you what, I'll take being in a committed relationship any day, because here's the thing that a lot of these people don't tell you. It's very, very lonely to be in that constant chasing and that constant moving and this constant going from one person to the next. It becomes very, very lonely, and it becomes very, very boring as well, because it's not something that's actually going to fulfill you. It's just an animal urge. It's just you basically going after your lust and trying to fulfill that sort of animal basic instinct. That's not actually fulfilling for you. It's not actually making you happy. It's not actually making you want to come home every single day because you're happy to be with someone. It's just leaving you with this empty feeling of nothingness. And so, what I want to really stress upon you with all of this is that being in a committed relationship is the actual thing that's going to make you happy. And it's challenging, yes. And it has its ups and downs, yes. And it's messy and it has its problems, yes. And there are a lot of things that you need to understand and learn before you actually get into that committed relationship. But still, even with all of that, it's the thing that's actually going to make you fulfilled and happy. So once again, I'm going to give you a little bit of an outline or sort of 3 things that you can focus on to have better relationships. Now, number 1 is understanding of the other person, understanding of yourself, understanding of the situation that you're both in. So being aware of these things is very, very important. Most people just go in there thinking that they're the center of the universe and they're the only thing that's important, and their feelings got hurt, and because we're entering in this relationship just with me vision, it becomes this battle between egos, and then it creates chaos. So the main thing that we need to have in this relationship is understanding of ourselves, of the relationship, and of the other person. So we need to be very, very inquisitive of ourselves. We need to be very, very aware of our emotions, how we're feeling, and the interaction that we're having with this person. We need to be very, very aware of the dynamic that we're having as a couple, right? And we need to be very, very aware of the other person as well. Listen to their problems, listen to their emotions, listen to what they're saying, to what they're doing, pay attention to what they're doing, especially. So doing these things allows you to have a better understanding of the relationship as a whole, and then allows you to have a better relationship as a result of it. So the main thing that we need to understand here is having understanding allows you to have a clear picture of what's going on. Because so many times we get involved in ourselves. We get involved in what we are doing, what we are feeling, and how this feels for me, or how this is for me. And so we then forget about what the interaction is. We forget about how we are being perceived by that other person. We forget about if any kind of actions that are potentially hurting that person that we have. We forget about all of these things that are so, so important for that relationship. So for us to have a successful relationship, we need to have that clear picture and be very, very objective about what's going on in this relationship. Number 2 is selflessness. It's sort of implied with the previous point, but I wanted to include it because it doesn't get talked about enough, right? Selflessness and often gets misconstrued as well by a lot of men, because this is what quote unquote simping becomes, right? Where you become completely selfless in terms of you giving up your own integrity, giving up your own identity, giving up your own self-respect for this person. Well, that's not the case. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is to be selfless enough where you are giving to that person without expecting something back or in return, but you're also maintaining that boundary of self-respect and self-love. And this is sort of my line, and you cannot cross it. Even when we are in a very, very committed relationship, even in marriage, there's just a line that we cannot cross with each other. If we cross that line, then we start to actually hurt each other. So here's the thing that we need to understand. Being selfless is actually in terms of, relationship, in terms of being loved, is to give to that person without expecting something back, but being secure enough in yourself that knowing that there's no scarcity there, knowing that if you give to that person, you're not losing anything. You're just giving to that person because you have so much to give, right? The best way for you to have love in your life and the best way for you to feel loved in your life is to give love without condition, without expecting something back. If you do something nice for your partner, right? Let's say one day you write them, you make lunch for them and you write them a very nice note and you leave it for them on their kitchen table. And they go, they enjoy it, and they don't say anything. They don't even say thank you. How do you feel? If you feel destroyed and dejected by that, and if you are then angry because they didn't do the same for you, well, what does that actually say about you? I mean, you were expecting all these things in return, but because you didn't get them, now you're all really upset. But the real thing here is, are you actually doing them because you wanted that in return, or because you actually wanted to do that for that person because you love them? So the main thing here is love that person unconditionally, give back to that person unconditionally, and if they're a good person and if they're a person that is, worth you devoting that attention and love to, they will try to reciprocate and do the same for you. Maybe not in the same way, right? Maybe in a different way, but they will try to reciprocate that because they love you. Now, number 3 is a basic thing that every relationship should have, and it's respect. If you respect your partner, you're not going to belittle them. You're not going to make them feel less. You're not going to actually, take opportunities away from them or try to silence them or anything like that. You're going to respect their opinion. You're going to respect that they're capable people, that they're people who actually have a valuable opinion or a valuable point of view that you want to hear, that you want to listen to. So respecting your partner is essential here. And there are so many couples that I've seen over and over and over again that are just so disrespectful to each other, even to other people, right? They're in the middle of a gathering or a party or something like that. They start saying, oh, this person is so messy, you're so fat, you're so ugly, you're so this and that and the other. And they're standing right there next to them. It's so disrespectful, yet they stay in that relationship. And they don't actually respect each other. And their attraction to each other starts dying slowly because they don't respect each other. So respect is essential. Having an understanding with your partner that, hey, I don't say these things about you. I don't belittle you. I don't make you feel less than. I don't expose you to the public, right? Or I don't expose your flaws. I don't make fun of these things. I don't point out these imperfections. So I expect the same in return, right? It's all about giving respect and receiving respect and expecting that to be a two-way street. And if that's not coming from the other end as well, talk to that person. And if that's not working, then we need to take other actions. But here's the main thing. There needs to be respect from both people in this relationship. If there's no respect, attraction starts to die, love starts to die, everything starts to die. We need to respect each other, and we need to respect the capabilities, actions, and flaws and strengths of the other person. So respecting your partner is essential. So let's get a little bit of a recap here. So number 1 was understanding, seeing like the whole picture of the relationship, not just your side, but their side and the side of our interaction. Number 2 is selflessness. Being selfless with your time, with your emotions, with your dedication to this person, and not expecting something in return, but actually just giving to them because you want to give to them. And if they're a good person, they're going to want to give back. And number 3 is respect, respecting that person, giving respect, and expecting respect back. If you have these 3 things in a relationship, you're going to have a solid relationship that is going to last a lifetime. And as you can see, there's kind of a little bit of a common trend with all these ideas. And that common trend is discipline and self-control. These are key to any man. Okay, a man is disciplined. A high value man is disciplined. And if you don't buy it from me, then maybe you want to listen to these people.
What does your ideal man look like?
Discipline. I really, really, really admire a disciplined man. And even with me, even with my behavior, discipline. So he's got a set of principles and boundaries when it comes to his mind, body, and soul, what he wants to do in terms of work, what he wants to do in terms of a gym, what he wants to do in terms of the relationship. Now, he doesn't bend those rules regardless of who I am and what I like. Not that, like, if you are acting crazy, if you're going to be silly, that's not going to work here. But when you bend and do that, I actually lose respect in that process. Stick to your guns, stick to your morals, stick to your work hard, be inspiring. I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by a man that says, we're going this, we're doing that. And I do like a man who naturally, instinctively likes to look after his woman, not necessarily financially, emotionally as well, enjoys looking after and being with a woman. I don't enjoy that man that is accessible and available to everybody and anybody. He's here, there, and everybody. Every girl wants to be with him, and every girl has been with him. It loses his allure. I like a kind of a guy who's selective with his time, money, and energy. And I do think that's one of the traits I do look for in a man.
Find sexiest in a guy.
Confidence will be the best part. A guy with the discipline to go to the gym, to eat well, healthy, good lifestyle.
Like there's nothing sexier than discipline. It's something about somebody who really just puts their money where their mouth is. You know what I'm saying? Who's really about what they're talking about. Like, it's giving hot.
A man having sexual discipline is probably one of the most important characteristics that a man can have. Or at the very least, a man being interested in cultivating sexual discipline.
I don't really think men understand how attractive it is when you have discipline. You discipline, you ain't looking at everything, you ain't trying to holler at everything, you're not out in public with all these women, you're not seen with all these women. Yeah, that's sexy.
Now this could be a very, very, very long discussion, right? So I'm gonna leave this for a different video. But let me know if you resonate with any of this. Leave it in the comments below if you disagree with anything that I've just said. And go out and apply all this and see how it works in your own life. And guys, take care, subscribe to the channel, see you guys in the next one.